In video number 4, we're going to be talking about where should I get started based on my budget. So where should you get started based upon your budget? For those who are just starting out with a small budget of, let's say, less than $500, the place that you need to start is Bing and Google Ads. I would say even before going to Google, you should start specifically with Bing ads, simply because Bing has similar policies to Google, but they're not as strict on affiliates as Google. So this is going to help train you for using the Google platform, but at the same time, it's going to allow you to kind of have an easier barrier of entry than working specifically with Google. So I would recommend specifically Bing ads for those on a small budget of less than $500. Now, for those who are looking to start, who have, let's say, $500 to $750 or more dollars, I think the best place for you to start would be Facebook ads. And the reason for this is you're going to experience much faster scaling and results than you will on Bing and Google. Now, this is simply because Facebook is kind of all the rage now. It's not high intent like Bing and Google, but there is a larger pool to kind of go off of as far as reach and audience. There's a lot more that you can do as far as scale on Facebook than there is on search marketing like Bing and Google. So for somebody who's looking for a long-term strategy starting out with a medium-sized budget, I think Facebook ads is really going to be your best bet. Now, for those who are starting with a very large budget and the advanced affiliates who take this course and those who have already kind of got their feet wet in online marketing and already have some money and some cash flow, the best place to start is going to be native ads. Native ads is by far the fastest results with nearly endless scalability. The majority of the white hat marketers who are making $10,000 to $15,000 profit every single day are native affiliates, simply because they're spending outrageous amounts of money to make even more money back. And that's one of the benefits of native, is that there's nearly instant results and endless scalability. The other bonus is that native platforms tend to be much more affiliate friendly, specifically Rev Content and MGID, than, let's say, Facebook and Bing and Google, where you're going to have a lot of strict policies that stand in between you and profit. So for somebody who's on a very high budget, native ads is really going to be your best bet. So let's talk about some of the benefits of Bing and Google. So the reason that I say Bing and Google are great places for beginners to start is simply because they're both high intent marketing platforms. Search marketing in and of itself is the end user expressing a high amount of intent to either look for a solution to their problem or purchase something. Search marketing as a whole really is kind of the best place to start on a budget for building out a profitable media buying and online advertising business. The reason this is you can definitely get a lot more results on a smaller budget than you can on, let's say, Facebook or native. If you only have $20 a day to spend on Facebook and native, you're really not going to have a lot of results to show for it compared to what you can do with search marketing in Bing and Google with a $20 a day budget. I've been able to get campaigns up to the several $100 per day mark on such a budget, and I will definitely be covering that inside of the Bing and Google training. Be sure, once again, to stay away from Google before mastering Bing. They have very similar policies, but Google is much, much, much more strict. Now, it can be very difficult to get new Google accounts compared to Bing, and this is one of the reasons why I said in the tools section to go ahead and sign up for an MCC or an agency account on both Bing and Google. This is simply because getting Google accounts can be very difficult, and how Google has their own strategy for weeding out affiliates and those that they deem to be high-risk users to their platform. So you're going to want to have access to as many accounts as possible. Once again, that's the reason that I said to go ahead and sign up for an agency or MCC account. So let's talk about some of the benefits of Facebook ads. Now, as I said, Facebook is one of the most scalable traffic platforms in the world, and every affiliate and their mother is all over Facebook right now and has been for quite some time. So Facebook is typically one of the fastest platforms to get results with, while still being a great platform to learn media buying with. And it's awesome because Facebook is kind of the perfect middle ground for somebody who's a new affiliate. You're allowed to spend smaller amounts of money. You don't have to have outrageous budget like you do with native ads. But at the same time, you can get those results pretty quickly and start scaling up campaigns. In fact, it was only about a year ago that I started to really get into Facebook media buying and CPA campaigns there. And I put up my first Facebook campaign and it was profitable in the first day. Now, it burned out pretty quickly, and I can get into that in some of the Facebook training. The point is that once you have a hit on Facebook, it can really scale up way faster than you think. The biggest challenge with Facebook, however, is their policy. Now, Facebook has a very strict policy as far as what is and what is not allowed, but you can lose accounts very, very quickly for really no reason at all. Facebook can sometimes just randomly ban your account. Now, whether it's their fault or your fault, typically you're going to be left with the bag. So it's important to make new accounts just like it is with Bing and Google. So once again, as I say in the tools section, 2 business managers per Facebook account. So obviously you're only allowed to have 1 personal account. If you have family or friends that are willing to let you use their accounts for business manager, I would open up as many business managers as possible and as many ad accounts under each one of those business managers as possible. Maybe even spend $10 to $20 on the accounts to get access to a higher account limit and allow you to have even more accounts. I typically try to have at least 20 to 50 Facebook accounts before I do anything affiliate marketing, simply because I know that Facebook is going to eventually randomly ban my accounts, whether it's my fault or their fault. It's just an eventuality. So let's talk about the benefits of native ads. Now, native ads are the fastest way to get results, but they are not cheap. They are very high barrier of entry simply because it's going to be based upon your budget. You're typically going to need, like I said, $2,000 to $10,000 to really see results, simply because by the time you've optimized your campaign, you're going to have spent $2,000, maybe even more. And at that point, if it's even in profit, you may have to move on to a different campaign and spend even more money to collect the data. But I will say this, native ads have had more first day profitable or first day promising campaign launches for me than any other traffic source besides search marketing. Now, the reason for this is that I have built up kind of a pool of assets of what's called widgets or websites that I can serve on that I know are going to be profitable with certain offers. Like for example, myself run a lot of conservative, older demographics, so 45 plus men, conservative political views. So I run a lot of that type of traffic on Rev Content, and I've seen a lot of amazing results there. One of the first, actually the first native campaign that I ever launched, I launched on Rev Content in the conservative traffic category, and I ramped it up to about $2,000 to $3,000 in profit the first day. I then ramped it to $6,000 in profit the next day. And I ran it for about 2 weeks before it burned out and a lot of competition came in. Of course, I was a beginner, and I could have done a lot of things to make this campaign be much, much more profitable. And I probably could have walked out with several $100,000 in profit. However, the challenge was I was new to the native space and I didn't really know what I do now. So mistakes are made. It's water under the bridge, but that's the benefit that you get from learning native ads for me, is that you get to learn from all of my mistakes. And if this ever happens to you, if you ever get that unicorn winning campaign that's really rare right out of the gate, then you're going to be able to maximize your earnings from that. Anyways, without going into too much of a rant there, native is extremely profitable and it's very scalable. So if you have the budget, I recommend it. So before you're starting on a certain traffic source, I think you need to understand that each traffic source is entirely different than the next. You're going to need a different skill set for each and every traffic source that you run with. So for example, the skills required to make a campaign profitable on Google are totally different than those required for Facebook or Rev Content. So you can't take a profitable search affiliate and throw them on Facebook if they're brand new and expect them to be profitable there in the same day. It's going to take them the same amount of time, if not more time, than it took them on their successful or winning traffic source to get to profit, simply because they have to learn that new traffic source and the skill sets that are required to make that traffic source profitable. At this point, please proceed to the next video to continue.